yesterday. Teamwork as in someone. I'll bet. Yeah, that was good. Extraordinary lady. Is she 82? My word. The federal police guy this morning was saying, he said quite often, this guy, Paul.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Her Excellency Professor Re-Furbishment, AC, CBO Governor, Administrator of the Government of the Commonwealth of Australia, the Honourable Kevin Humphries MP, Member for Barwon, Minister for Mental Health, Minister for Healthy Lifestyles, and the Minister for Western New South Wales, and his wife Lindy, Councillor Desmond Waring, the Mayor of Lachlan Shire Council, and his wife Jeanette, Councillor John Metcalf, the Deputy Mayor, and his wife Jane, other councillors from Lachlan Shire, Councillor Terry Fishpool and Laurie, Councillor Brian Nelson and Wendy, and Councillor Kim Jones. We also have with us the past President of Tottenham Lions Club, Mr Ben Nichols, and his wife Wendy, and the current President of Tottenham Lions, Mr Rodney Campbell. Sue, I beg your pardon. Too many Sues and Wendy. Sorry, Sue. And the current President of Tottenham Lions, Mr Rodney Campbell. And by no coincidence, the President of the Tottenham CWA, whose spares we will enjoy after the ceremony, Mrs Gwen Campbell. Mr Graham Field, New South Wales Air Ambulance, Mr Tony Matthews, General Manager Aviation, RFDS, Mr David Glasson, Squadron Leader, ADC, and Mr Paul Wesley from the Australian Federal Police. Ladies and gentlemen, students from the school, boys and girls. I'm George Cowan, the General Manager of Lachlan Shire, and it's my pleasure to MC this very important ceremony this morning. I'd firstly like to invite you all to join me in acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, the Wiradjuri people, and to pay our respects to the elders, both past and present. The Shire and the people of Lachlan acknowledge the significant contribution to community and wonderful cultural heritage of the Wiradjuri people. Now, to start things off, I'm going to call upon the Principal of Tottenham Central School, Mr Steve Garriott, and his students to lead us in the National Anthem, and I'd like to ask you all to stand and join in. the Honourable Kevin Humphries, MP, Minister for Mental Health and Healthy Lifestyle in Western New South Wales. My fellow councillors, especially the Deputy Mayor, Councillor John Metcalfe, distinguished guests, school children, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure and a privilege for me today to welcome you all here, but particularly our Governor, to the Lachlan Shire, on behalf and also on behalf of the community of Tottenham, who are very pleased that you were able to accept their invitation and commemorate with us this opening of the refurbishment of the airport. Today is a culmination of a very special effort by the community, which has been done in a very short time with the full support of everyone. Tottenham is a place, like a lot of other country towns, who are very resilient, and when something needs doing, they do it. And it doesn't matter whether it's the police, whether it's the ambulance, the hospital, or doctors, in this case the airport. And it is quite fitting that you are able to join us today to be with us, because being a patron of the Royal Flying Doctor Service and also a country person, you understand the concerns of country people, that they can receive that attention quickly and efficiently when the need arises. It is also fitting this has happened very close to Anzac Day, because it also signifies the Anzac tradition of mateship and a fair go for everyone. And that's what it's all about, a country community like ours. So I'd like to also welcome the community and thank you for your support, not only today but over the past year, 18 months since this has been ongoing. And it is a tribute to all of you, the way in which you have contributed and brought this to fruition. And it certainly, I don't know what we'll see next. Probably we may see a terminal here and a passenger service, but if you decide that's necessary, I'm sure it will happen on what I've seen. Marie, I'm glad you could, Professor Marie, Your Excellency, I'm glad that you could be with us today to share in this. It is our pleasure that you could accept the invitation and also to visit our Shire again, and particularly the community of Tottenham. And I invite you, at your pleasure, to come back sometime if you can so fit to do so. So welcome once again. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have a couple of apologies today, which I'd like to mention early. Mr. John Wasley was from the Royal Flying Doctor Service. He was one of the gentlemen who were very instrumental in this project in its early days, and unfortunately for us, John has retired and is unable to be with us today. Our federal member, Mr. Mark Colton, is also unfortunately unavailable. What a wonderful story. And to bring the story to us, I'd like to invite Ben Nichols to come forward to the microphone and speak on the progress and the culmination of this project.
Her Excellency, Professor Margaret Shear, Governor of New South Wales. The Honourable Kevin Humphries, Member of Parliament, Mayor Desmond Waring of the Lachlan Shire, Graham Field of Air Ambulance, New South Wales, Tony Matthews, General Manager of Aviation for the Royal Flying Doctor Service. Special guests, gentlemen, boys and girls. We are so thrilled to have Her Excellency here today to celebrate with us the opening of our refurbished airstrip. I'm sure she will leave this airstrip today knowing she has been part of what a small community with a big heart is all about. I realise most people here today are aware of why the airstrip refurbishment has taken place, but I would like to take a few minutes to outline the story with a little bit more detail. In June of 2010, during the Yellow Mountain motorbike ride, there was a serious accident requiring aerial medevac from Tottenham airstrip. This was denied, as had previously occurred, with no real explanation as to why the airstrip wouldn't be used. Both the Tottenham Motorcycle Club and the Tottenham Lions Club set to work to search for answers at this stage with little success. On the 15th of December 2010, I suffered a serious heart attack. There was no doctor present, and after various tests, the sister requested for immediate evacuation to Sydney. Again, this request was refused, leading to a 3-hour delay before I was taken by road to Nyngan and then Royal Flying Doctor to RPA. With the help of the Lachlan Shire, the Tottenham Welfare Council and the Tottenham Health Advisory Council, the Tottenham Lions Club convened a meeting in March of 2011 with the Royal Flying Doctor Service and the New South Wales Ambulance to discuss why the planes weren't landing at Tottenham. This was held at the Tottenham Multi-Service Centre and was attended by representatives of the Lachlan Shire, the Royal Flying Doctor Service, the New South Wales Ambulance and various Tottenham community organisations. The outcome of this meeting was highlighted that the airstrip was not up to standard required by the Royal Flying Doctor Service. This was information unknown to the Lachlan Shire and the community. Now we had something to work towards to allow the Royal Flying Doctor Service to land at Tottenham. The requirements were to construct a cement hard stand area for patient transfers, lengthen the airstrip to 1,200 metres, publish GPS coordinates, runway and taxiway lighting and a marsupial-proof fence, and council approval for the larger B350 aircraft to land. Within 2 weeks of this meeting, the community quickly banded together and with donated materials and labour constructed the required cement hard stand, this being an area of 16 by 8 metres. It is here that we would like to thank Peter and Jen Baker for the use of their concreting equipment and expertise, along with Jeffrey and Jackie Brown for the use of their Manitou loader. I would also wish to thank the many hands who turned up on the day to see this section of the project completed. Following on from this, the airstrip was lengthened from 930 metres to 1,200 metres as requested, and this was carried out at no charge by A&B rural contractors. After much research, the requirement of a published GPS coordinates was deemed unnecessary by the Royal Flying Doctor Service, so we didn't have to go ahead and do anything there. We now needed to light the airstrip for night retrievals and settled on high quality solar lighting for the windsock, runway and taxiway. This was at a cost of $31,000, paid for by funds from the Tottenham Lions Club. The marsupial-proof fence was the next in the agenda. We called for donations of fencing materials, which were coordinated through our local merchandise store, Tottenham Rural Trading. We required $25,000 worth of materials to construct the 4.6 kilometre of 1.8 metre high fence. To our utter amazement, the required materials were donated within 3 days. This highlighted how much the community valued seeing this project completed. The Tottenham Lions Club members then proceeded to erect the end assemblies for the fencing. We envisaged it would take 3 days to stand the fence. We asked various club presidents to bring their members along on set days to help. The first day, and as it turned out the last day, where 30 plus volunteers turned up to erect the fence, it must stand as a record as the total of 4.6 kilometres was stood and finished by 3 o'clock on the same afternoon. I have very strong memories of that fence just miraculously standing at a great pace that came over that ridge. It was incredible. What an amazing show of community spirit. I still think we should have entered that in the Guinness Book of Records. With the Lachlan Shire Council declaring they would approve the B350 style aircraft to land on the airstrip, all the requirements for a 24/7 air evacuation had been fulfilled. This now left us with the concern that aircraft would not land on a gravel strip. if there was wet weather or inclement weather predicted. We felt to really complete this project we needed to seal the airstrip. This would then leave no barriers in the way of landing. We have approached both state and federal governments for funding to no avail. We went to the Lachlan Shire with the proposed sealing. They will complete the required earthworks to allow the sealing to proceed. They accepted this proposal with no hesitation. We then approached various clubs and organisations in the town, asking them to pledge monies towards the sealing of the airstrip. I'd like you to listen to the figures. We received pledges from Tottenham Motorcycle Club, 15,000, Tottenham Picnic Race Club, 10,000, Tottenham Horse and Sports, 10,000, Tottenham Welfare Council, 5,000, and the Lachlan Shire Council, 15,000. Two extremely large donors who made considerable donations were GrainCorp, who donated $20,000, a very large sum, a testament to how they support such important community projects, as well as Australian Lions Foundation, a foundation formed to assist Lions clubs with their projects that benefit their local communities. They also donated $15,000, a very large sum. Thank you. With these donations and the help of individual donations from the local and surrounding areas, we now have the finances to go ahead and seal the airstrip. To reduce the overall cost, we could save a considerable sum if we carted the required aggregate from the quarry to the airstrip, approximately 100 kilometres one way. Again, we called on community members who own trucks willing to donate the cartage of the loads, all loads, and again we were overwhelmed by their immediate response and support. A total of 500 tonnes were carted, a major effort. The sealing was completed on the 8th of February this year, after many rain delays. The result being a runway of 18 metres by 1,200 metres, as well as a taxiway and aircraft parking area incorporating near the Rural Fire Service water tank. The line marking of the airstrip and taxiway completed early in April. This completed. We became aware of recently released grants programs to the state government that could be put towards community-based projects when we were nearing the sealing section of our project. We applied for this funding and have recently received notification that we have been successful. From its inception, the Lachlan Shire Council, whether through the Mayor, the councils, the General Manager, engineers and staff, have gone out of their way to assist in any way possible. Without their input, this project would not have succeeded. The local team have done a terrific job of getting the area ready for today. Thank you. Very well deserved. On a personal level, I would like to thank Gary Brown. His expertise and can-do attitude from the very beginning, along with his enthusiasm to see this project completed, has been endless. I can't praise Gary enough. Along with Rick Attenborough and the AMB rural team, the use of their machinery at all levels has allowed for a smooth development of this development to occur. Thank you, mate. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the organisations and individuals who work tirelessly to see this project come to fruition. I can't possibly name every one of you individually for fear of missing someone, as the list is too great and would take the rest of the day. Please accept this thank you from myself and the wider community, as you have achieved something that you can be truly proud of. Thank you, fellow Lions, for your continued support and encouragement. You're a great model bloke. Thank you to the CWA and helpers who are serving our morning tea today. There's nothing like country cooking, of which you're going to enjoy in a little while. Thank you. An essential energy supplying the generator for the urn. I'm sure you will have all noticed the rock. When deciding on a suitable base to place the plaques, we thought a rock had the right look. We didn't just want any small rock, we wanted the rock. I'm sure you will agree that we've got the rock. To your left there are computers running, slideshows of how the airstrip became a reality. Please go over and enjoy them at your leisure. In summary, within 12 months, the Tottenham community has been able to achieve a remarkable success story, showing what a small community can do when the need arises. and the whole community works for a result. I'd now like to call on Rodney Campbell, our local Tottenham Lions president, to present a donation to the Royal Flying Doctor Services to Tony Matthews and his stepdad. Tony, come forward, and Rodney. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for your support. Tremendous.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you, Rodney. I'd like to now invite our highly respected local member, the Honourable Kevin Humphries, to address you.
Thank you, George. Her Excellency, Professor Re-Furbished, AC, CBO, Governor of New South Wales, but also the Administrator for the Commonwealth for some time. Governor, it's a privilege to welcome you here to Western New South Wales again. And if you ever have some favourite people in your life and people that have a serious impact on their community and the wider community, it's Governor Re-Furbished. And I always say that if Macquarie was the governor that was known as the building governor, that our governor is known as the people's governor. And she's very well respected, not just around the state, but is often called upon to step into the Governor-General's position right across this country. But we have no greater advocate, I can tell you, for country areas. So I think when the Lachlan Shire and Councillor Desmond Waring made the approach to invite the governor here, I thought, well, no better person should really be granted the privilege of being here today to open the new Tottenham airstrip. So, Governor, thank you for being here. And to Ben, thank you for coordinating this whole project in conjunction with the Lachlan Shire and the community. And I think part of the reason why this has been a very successful project is really down to people like Ben Nichols. People rise for different reasons to take up leadership, and I think people like Ben showed leadership based out of need, not just for himself, but out of service to others that are currently here, but also people that are going to come after us. So I think it's important that the school children are here today, because I can tell you it's not very often that you'll see a governor in Tottenham, but not very often you'll see such a community project come together, led by wonderful people out of the need. Tottenham's an interesting community, and having known some of the councillors in particular over time, I just wanted to share one story. This is not a one-off. When I first became a member for Barwon, Tottenham did not have a police officer. Tottenham didn't have a police officer for some time, in fact nearly half a year. The interesting thing was the local community at the time, again local leadership, people stepped up, made sure that their community was safe and secure. They did that quietly, and I think taught me a lesson in the sense that communities that still have that resilience, that have that intergenerational capacity, will still look after their own community, and that's not everywhere. What you've got here, I think, is a very unique value that needs to be treasured, and again I think that's why it's important that our school children are here today to see what has gone before them. So it's a credit to you, and I think Ben, on behalf of the government, I'm going to take one story back to the Premier next week, is the leadership that's been shown here and what you can do with limited resources if people do work together. There's a bit of an interesting discussion that's been going on in the city for some time. It's about the second airport in Sydney, and my message to the government will be, well, if you want to build a second airport, you've got one right here behind us here, so that's an option. Otherwise you take Ben Nichols and his team from Tottenham back to Sydney and show them how to do it. So little bit of that announcement. And as Des said, it's not, the dates are quite relevant, I think. Anzac Day is about mate helping mate and shoulder to shoulder with our community. The other important thing I just wanted to mention, it's important we've got the air ambulance and the flying doctor here, because yesterday in Sydney, the Health Minister and a number of other people launched the Beechcraft King Air 350. This strip that's been upgraded, and Ben gave us a great history of it, largely was born out of that new plane that's coming on service. And it's all about making sure that no matter where we live in New South Wales, particularly in country areas, that we've got access to those specialist medical services. Every day across eastern New South Wales, the Royal Flying Doctor Service conducts clinics, retrievals, moving specialists around the bush in particular. Over 1 year, there's about 5,000 people are retrieved along the eastern seaboard between Melbourne, Brisbane, the Darling River to the west of us, and Sydney. It's about 2,500 missions. We've just signed with the Air Ambulance and the Royal Flying Doctor, and it's an agreement with the federal government for a 10-year renewal of aircraft, and 2 new 350s, Beechcraft 350s. The one that was launched yesterday will be coming online in the next couple of months, and a number of other new 200s, 3 in fact. So the Flying Doctors will have 5 new aircraft coming online. But the 350 is important because it was the one that people like Ben needed, and that plane will have some pretty elaborate equipment on it that will deal specifically with people that have not just heart attacks, but quite serious heart attacks, people that need stents put in their heart, that need to be pretty much stabilised before they get back to either Dubbo or back to Royal Prince Alfred or indeed St Vincent's Hospital. So there's an agreement between all those tertiary hospitals, between the air ambulance, between the Royal Flying Doctor Service. It was important that those people came to Tottenham in late 2010 to meet with people like Ben, to meet with the Tottenham Welfare Council, to meet with the Lachlan Shire, who've done a fantastic job all through this, to make sure that this community was front and centre in any future decision making as to where the Flying Doctor and where the Air Ambulance Service goes in New South Wales. So the discussions that were had here were held also in Sydney at Parliament and between some people that were also liaising with the federal government. So what you've achieved here is actually a lot wider than just the Tottenham district. It's been part of a statewide network that really was to an extent driven out of the Tottenham community. So that's a credit to you, and I think Ben, just to say finally, the leadership that you've shown on behalf of everybody in this community, and in partnership with the Lachlan Shire and the Lions Club in particular, on the parliamentary lines, it's all about service to community. It really has not gone unnoticed, and it's all credit to you, and I congratulate you, and it's a privilege to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I'd like to now invite the Governor to come forward to address you and to officially open this new estate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khan. Well, it's truly an absolute joy and a privilege to be here with you all today on this glorious Australian Day in the sun. And thank you, Councillor Mainwaring, Mr. Mayor, and the councillors of Lachlan Shire for inviting me here today. It's wonderful to be part of such a celebration of the Australian way. And so many distinguished guests, of course, our local member for Barwon, the Honourable Kevin Humphries, and thank you for your very kind words. And it's a joy to see our school children here, the young Australians. And I was thinking while I was listening to these speeches, beautiful young people, that this is like a movie. This is incredible. Somebody gets very, very sick, needs to be rushed out of beautiful Tottenham to get to a big hospital where they do extraordinary things, and the plane can't land. So instead of saying, oh, this is just too bad, the community led by Mr. Nichols, who gets better, says, right, we're going to fix this. And everybody gets behind him to do that. So we know there's an added safety, a respect, a love for every single member of this community and the whole district. And of course that's in line with John Flynn. You all learn about John Flynn, who thought, my goodness, what are we going to do about these long distances? We'd better start up an aeroplane service just to get sick people to hospital. And that's how we got the flying doctor service. So people all around the world look to Australia with enormous, enormous admiration. I've gone to so many places, and you know, on my way to Turkey, to Gallipoli a couple of years ago, I went through various countries. Everywhere I went, they said how wonderful the Australian people are. They come and help us, they ask for nothing, they don't want to be thanked, and they quietly do that. That's what they say in Turkey, at Gallipoli. The Turkish people, even though we were there as the opposition. And they say that in Vietnam, because Australians help one another and help other people. And this is the most wonderful example of that. This symbolises the Australian spirit. Someone said to me the other day, where are you going on Friday? And I said, up to Tottenham. Oh, what for? I said, oh, a new airstrip. An airstrip? You're going all that way to see an airstrip? I said, this is the most wonderful, wonderful story. It tells of the pride and the resilience and the way Australians pull together. So, of course, it means also the ability to save precious lives, because you young people probably don't know I'm a doctor. I'm a children's doctor and a teenagers doctor, and I can never forget that. And we've got one problem in Australia, and that is we can't afford to lose any one of you. Every single Australian is so precious. By comparison with other countries, we've got a small population, and we've got to look after every single one. So the people of Tottenham realise that, inspired by Mr Nichols, as we've heard, and the inspiration of all of you. It's music to my ears, it really is. Being a country girl from Narangba, down a bit further south than here on the beautiful Murrumbidgee, but also in Wiradjuri country. But when one looks at this, not just Lachlan Shire Council, Grain Corp, Australian Nines Foundation, the big players, but Tottenham Picnic Race Club, the Motorcycle Club, the Horse Sports and Gymkhana, and the local Lions, and lots of individuals, all giving of their heart and whatever they could. It's an incredible story, and you young people are going to grow up with that sort of a tradition in your lives, and you're going to go out and make the world a better place, because that's the Tottenham way, and that's the Australian way. So I want to thank you again, all of you, for having me here today. I'll be talking about this wonderful achievement for a long time to many, many people, and to schools too, because it just shows what we can do when we care about one another. So I guess I now need to thank everyone who participated again and unveil the plaque. Thank you. And the years ahead be very, very bountiful in every way for the people of Tottenham, the rural people of Australia. Let me tell you, the fifth most important man in China came to dinner at Government House a few months ago. And there was a bit of friskiness going on in the South China Sea with various fleets opposing, looking at one another, not doing anything harmful. And I said to him, I had the audacity to say, Your Excellency, could you tell me what China's biggest concern, biggest fear is? He said, without a doubt, food. Millions and millions of our farmers and the people who work on the land, the Chinese peasants, have left the land to come in and work in the factories in the city to make the things we all buy. So he said, we don't have enough food production. We'll be looking to Australia to help us feed our people, to Australia and New Zealand. because we won't be growing enough food for our people. So there's going to be, certainly, I think, a realignment of the importance of the rural industry in Australia. And we need, therefore, airstrips, and that someone jokingly said we could build a big one with a community sound thing.
It's on the cards,
Yes, well, if it's on the cards, I think it should be taken very, very seriously because the world wants our wheat, our food, our milk products, our meat, and this is the most unpolluted place on the planet. We still produce and always will the best from the rural industry. So thank you all to everyone in Tottenham for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And I wonder if, before you unveil the plaques, if you'd accept a small token of appreciation from the community here, and I'd like to invite Demi Bennett and Jade Fishpool, the school captains, to come forward and make a small presentation. Thank you, Demi and Jade, and thank you to the school for your contribution here today. Look, there's just a couple of things I'd like to say before we conclude, and the first of those is that I'd like to formally place on record the gratitude of Lachlan Shire Council to the community of Tottenham for this project. As most of you would be aware, Council is responsible for the airstrip. We have that joy and that liability, and to have an asset renewed in the way that this one has been is something that the Council could not have achieved, and so I'd like to place those thanks on record. When you go over to the area to your left and enjoy morning tea, you'll notice on the tables that there are some small donation bowls. Feel free to contribute. That is to collect funds for a donation to the Royal Flying Doctor Service. And that's it. So
feel free. You going to look this way?
Okay, yeah. Come in.
Okay, yeah, that's you've been great organising everybody together. I see it. Wait, that's 6 tons.
Hey mate, how you going?
And the way you were holding it.
Oh, is that camera on? Oh, turn it around so I can see it. Oh. Woo!
Get around, John.
Yeah, run into you again, Rick.
Milk.
Things change, isn't it? Liverpool,